are blessed. Okay. Yes, that's what I'm trying to get it done right away, okay? Good evening, everyone. I'd like, we have our five. Councilman of the League, Abdulaziz. He's been here. So I want to say good evening to everyone. Madam Clerk, I'd like to call the meeting to order. I want to say thank you to the Paterson community for, although all numbers are not certified yet, I am very confident that we will continue being in the seat, so I'm very thankful. So the meeting is now called to order. And I'm sorry, no. The thing is that everybody's coming in, so I'd like silence. All right. So Madam Clerk, roll call.
Yes, Madam President.
Thank you.
Roll call for Municipal Council regular meeting of May 12, 2022 at 7 p.m. Councilman Abdulaziz. Here. Councilwoman Khan. Here. Councilman Jackson. Councilman Khalid.
Here.
Councilman Mendez.
Yes, yeah, here, Madam Clerk.
Councilman Mims. Councilman Rivera. Councilman Velez. Madam President.
Madam Clerk, Councilman Velez told me you will not be here, all right, so just letting you know.
Yes. And Councilwoman Mims and Councilman Rivera will be late.
Will be late, okay, very good.
Okay, your vote.
Present, Madam Clerk.
Thank you. Okay. Madam President and honorable council members, this evening we have with us to render the prayer Ms. Joan Campbell Douglas from the First Seventh-day Adventist Church of Paterson, and also the secretary, one of the secretaries in the City Council office, and also to lead us in the flag salute, the Honorable Marisa Davila, Council President and Councilwoman at Large. Everyone at this time, please rise for the prayer and the flag salute. Thank you.
Let us pray. Mighty eternal God, everlasting Father, tonight again, Lord, you bring your people, this great city of Paterson, together so that they can make decisions, Heavenly Father. We thank you for this opportunity. We thank you, O God, for your keeping care to bring us here again tonight. Mighty God, every decisions that are made here tonight, we call upon you that you will be with each and every council member, Lord, as they make the decisions. We ask for your divine guidance. We ask you, dear God, to continue to be with this great city of Paterson. We ask, dear Lord, that you will help that as we grow from strength to strength, we will continue to look steadfast unto you. Mighty God, we pray for the family who has lost their loved ones. Mighty God, we pray, dear God, for Mr. De Jesus, wherever he may be, Almighty God, we ask that you may grant the family, Lord, direction. Be with them even now, O God. May you comfort them and help them, Lord, not to give up hope, to look steadfast unto you, knowing that you know everything, Father. So, Lord Jesus, we call upon you that you will cover them tonight. We ask that you will take control of every single proceedings here tonight, and may your name be glorified when everything is said and done. We pray and thank you in the mighty name of Jesus. Amen.
Amen. Councilwoman Cotton. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. This time, please remain standing. I'd like a moment of silence for the 15-year-old who was killed yesterday. My condolences to the family and our loved ones. And also a moment of silence today marks 1 million citizens in the United States have died of COVID. So at this time, and to our troops as well, I'd like a moment of silence. Thank you. Thank you. You may have a seat. Okay. Madam Clerk, we have a quick presentation, okay? By Councilman
Statement.
Abdulaziz, but I'd like you to read the statement of compliance first.
Yes, yes, Madam
And then
President.
Councilman Abdulaziz will do the presentation.
Sure, thank you. Statement of compliance with the Open Public Meetings Law 2021 to 2022. Meeting date, May 12, 2022, time 7 p.m. Adequate notice of this meeting was compiled and disseminated in accordance with the Open Public Meetings Law in the following manner. 1, the annual notice of regular meetings and workshop sessions of the Municipal Council was compiled for the year 2021 to 2022 on or about July 1, 2021. 2, a schedule of the regular meetings and workshop sessions of the Municipal Council for the year 2021 to 2022 was duly transmitted on or about July 1, 2021, to the North Jersey Herald News, The Record, the Arabic Voice, Italian Voice, Passaic County Pulse, Dominicana News, Cascader International, El Especial, Paterson Press, the City Post News, and Tap into Paterson, in addition to any other publication duly requesting such notices. 3, the schedule of the regular meetings and workshop sessions of the Municipal Council for the year 2021 to 2022 was prominently posted in the lobby of City Hall, first floor, in the place reserved for the announcements of this type. 4, the schedule of the regular meetings and workshop sessions of the Municipal Council for the year 2021 to 2022 was duly filed with the municipal clerk. 5, a copy of the schedule of regular meetings of the Municipal Council was mailed to any person who requested and paid the fee authorized by the Open Public Records Act. Madam President.
Thank you very much. Councilman Abdulaziz?
Testing. Good evening, council members and members watching at home. Before today's council meeting, I would like to take a few minutes to honor some of the hard work of some of the volunteers from a couple weeks ago. As many people know, in the 6th Ward, we like to enjoy our holidays. And if you've been in the 6th Ward and seen our Christmas Eve toy giveaway and our Christmas Eve joy that we give out throughout the city, it's because of the volunteers that I partner up with. And a couple weeks ago, we were able to celebrate the Eid, the Muslim holiday. So we do this not just for the Muslim community in the 6th Ward, but all communities. And we see that all our neighbors come together regardless of race, religion, or color. They come out, they wish their neighbors a blessed Ramadan and a happy Eid, and they get a toy. But I partnered up with the New Jersey Muslim Officer Society. When you talk about community policing, these individuals gave up, broke fast, and I was short on the pizza, Council President, when I brought it because we had so many volunteers. They broke fast, and they walk block by block giving out toys. And when the kids hear the siren, you know, and it brings me, that's my favorite event. I did this before I was a councilman, and seeing the kids sometimes, I've been called Santa a couple times, right, on Christmas, and on the Eid, the kids come out celebrating, but it can't be done without these officers, and that is the true definition of community policing. And these are not police officers from Paterson, right? We have many volunteers from the city of Paterson, but this is throughout the state of New Jersey, state police, Newark PD, Arab, Hispanic, black Muslims that come out to Paterson and give back to the community. So I just want to call them up and recognize them. And most of them are out on the street working, am I correct? So, but we have a couple people here, and I'm going to call them up. We'll acknowledge them. And then I want to thank you. On behalf of the 6th Ward, this Eid festival is talked about worldwide. If you really see how that video went all over. So it's not because of me, it's because of the volunteers that give back. So join me in I'm going to call Huda Shalabi. Come on up. You come around that way. Huda is actually the second, congratulations, just graduated from the police academy, the second hijabi police officer in Passaic County. You're welcome. You would just go down, go right down there. Ihsan Abdul Rasul,
Just stay standing, okay? Here.
Essex County Sheriff's Department. From Paterson PD, Ahmed Awada. From Passaic County Sheriff's Department, Jose Gonzalez. From the State Police and the President of the New Jersey Muslim Officer Society, Mudassir Malik. And from the Paterson PD, I don't need his, I gotta find his certificate, but I know who he is. He's right here. From Paterson PD, Officer Faisal Khan. And I just want to give a shout out. Some of the people are not here, Council President. You know, Paterson PD was well represented, so I got to thank them. Malik Asaf from Newark PD, who it was also, I think, the first hijabi in Newark Police Department. Kelly Muhammad, Paterson PD, Serene Tamimi, Paterson PD's Wassam Salameh, Paterson PD, Adi Bignas, and Paterson PD's Abdelaziz Yusuf, and even our lieutenants, top brass, come out. These are all volunteer officers for 4 or 5 hours. Come out to our Christmas Eve day. You want to bring your kids, you'll see how much they hustle. Ihsan, we had to give him a little asthma pump a couple times over there. But thank you again.
Thank you.
And the residents of the 6th Ward truly appreciate it.
Thank you once again.
Yeah, we'll take a picture. Council, take a picture. Just like I said, our lieutenants. So we got our chief here, Lieutenant Saleh Judah, Lieutenant Abdul Midam Hamda, and Officer Ibrahim Yanis.
Councilwoman.
Stay in the seats. If you guys could just, in between, so in between, so you stand here, you stand over there. No. So,
One more time, and just one more.
there you go, right there. There you go. In between. It's in between. You're not gonna cover us.
You can throw it one more time, and then you can move.
Right here's good.
No, it's good. It's good. It's good, right? Good.
Yeah.
You could do the. Thank you once again. Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
All right.
Yeah, these are the rest of the things, guys. Thank you.
Madam Clerk,
Get in shape for Christmas Eve, all right, guys? We got
Madam Clerk, I'd like to take the consent agenda.
Yes, Madam President. One second, Council President, because these things are not put together.
All right, Madam Clerk, we'll do payment of bills first.
Okay.
Motion to payment of bills?
Thank you, Council President. Summary of disbursement, total of payment is $15,360,975.62. Majority of it, over $13 million to the county taxes. I recommend it get paid.
Okay, moved by Councilman Kalik. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Councilman Mendez and Councilman Abdulaziz. Roll call, Madam Clerk, on payment of bills?
Yes, Madam President. Roll call and payment of bills in the amount of $15,360,975.62. Councilman Abdelaziz. Councilwoman Khan. Councilman Kalik.
That's original.
Yes.
Councilman Mendez.
Yes, Madam Clerk.
Madam President.
Yes.
The vote is 5 in favor, 4 absent. Payment of bills in the amount of $15,360,975.62 is hereby adopted.
Thank you very much. Madam Clerk, we'll take the consent agenda.
Yes, Madam
Items
President.
4 through 6.
Next item on the agenda is our consent agenda items. All matters listed under the consent agenda are considered to be routine by the council and will be enacted by one motion. The items listed on the consent agenda are numbers 4 through 6. Any item may be removed from the consent agenda by the request of any council member, and if so removed, will be treated as a separate matter. May I have a motion?
Moved by Councilwoman Cotton, second by Councilman Abdelaziz. Roll call, Madam Clerk, on the consent agenda, items 4 through 6.
Yes, Madam President. Roll call on items 4 through 6 on the consent agenda. Councilman Abdelaziz?
Yes.
Councilwoman Khan? Yes. Councilman Khalid?
Yes.
Councilman Mendez?
Yes.
Madam President?
Yes.
The vote is 5 in favor, 4 absent. Items 4 through 6 on the consent agenda is hereby adopted.
Thank you very much, Madam Clerk. I'll take item number 3 for first reading.
Yes, Madam President. Next item is item number 3 for first reading. No public hearing is required. And item number 3 reads, an ordinance establishing a 15-minute parking zone on East 16th Street between 4th Avenue and River Street, Department of Public Works.
Second.
Moved by Councilwoman Cotton, second by Councilman Mendez. Roll call, Madam Clerk, on item number 3 for first reading.
Yes, Madam President. Roll call on item number 3 for first reading. Councilman Abdelaziz? Yes. Councilwoman Cotton? Yes. Councilman Khalid?
Yes.
Councilman Mendez?
Yes.
Madam President?
Yes.
The vote is 5 in favor, 4 absent. Item number 3 is hereby adopted on first reading. Second reading and public hearing will be held at the next regular meeting of May 24th, 2022.
Thank you very much. Madam Clerk, I'd like to take the second reading ordinances, item number 1.
Yes, Madam President. Next item on the agenda is our second reading ordinances. Public hearing is required, item number 1. Item number 1 for second reading, an ordinance amending the Paterson Code such that in addition to the city's existing transfer tax and medical cannabis adopted October 13, 2020, pursuant to NJSA 24:6I-10I, there shall also be a transfer tax and other cannabis-related transactions pursuant to NJSA 40:48I-1. Administration Ordinance 2204.
So moved.
Moved by Councilman Abdelaziz. Do I have a second? Second by Councilman Kalik. The public hearing, did you want to, a second? Okay. The public hearing is now open on item number 1.
Hello, yes, good evening. Dave Gilmore, Paterson. On this particular matter, you know, I don't have a real issue one way or the other on usage, whether it be recreational or medicinal. My problem is the tax rate. If you go to Connecticut or Massachusetts, where they've enacted a responsible tax on this particular multi-billion-dollar industry at 20%. 20%. Then you can talk about having an opportunity to funnel money back to the people that need help or assistance or additional businesses and technical assistance and all the other items related to the revenue generated. 2% is what Paterson is charging for a tax rate. Now, I don't know if you're restricted by the state. I don't know whether it was pulled out of the sky or whatever, but the difference between 2 and 20 is great. It's insurmountable. I think that there has to be some intelligence, if you will, and I use the term loosely, intelligence around charging and generating monies for the city of Paterson. We are a distressed city. We are a poor city. We are a dirty city. You understand? So where is the funds that we have an opportunity to get revenue, to raise revenue, and we're squandering it. We're not doing it. But yet and still, folks can make a whole lot of money. They can donate a whole bunch of money to political campaigns and so forth for extra and I think unwarranted support that we then still get looked down upon when it's time to raise capital and spend money judiciously for our community. So I think it's a missed opportunity, something that can be fixed if you have the will and or the and no slight on the female gender, but the testicular fortitude to stand up and do what's right for the citizens of Paterson. Thank you.
See no move to close.
Second.
Sorry, seeing none, move to close by Councilman Mendez, second by Councilman Abdulaziz. Madam Clerk, roll call to close the public hearing on item number 1 for second hearing approval.
Yes, Madam President. Roll call to close the public hearing for item number 1. Councilman Abdulaziz?
Yes.
Councilwoman Khan? Yes. Councilman Jackson?
Appreciate it, Mr. Ming. Let me jump in front of this now, because I think what we're going to hear about, oh, we can't do that. Oh, the state said we can't. So many other provisions that could have been made, Mr. Gilmore. In fact, we could have outlined the legislation to read as follows: that in order for them to come into our community and do business here and make tons of money and charge people 5 times the rate of an ounce of weed, or what somebody could probably get it for on a local corner, or even at some of the other dispensaries. There is another dispensary, minority owned, is owned by a Puerto Rican person here. In fact, there's 2 partners. One is Puerto Rican, one is black, African American. And we could have made sure that these larger scale companies that have a heads up or a head start, so to speak, because they was the 6 who was endowed with those licenses and allowed to get situated with the grow stations and so on and so forth. We could have mandated that they partner with a local vendor. They would have been a partnership arrangement. We could have mandated that they hire a certain amount of employees, but that's not the intent of people here. We could have mandated that there was a certain amount of money set aside for injustices of which we see before us today. We could have done a lot of things, but this mayor vetoed the effort, and the council sat and let it happen. Now we're moving his agenda forward by pushing this thing forward without any asks. So you're right. There may have been a 2% mandate by the state, but there's a lot of other things that this council has the ability to do. And we're going to watch other communities do it, and we're going to be the second one at the table all the time. And, you know, it's a continued embarrassment. With that being said, Madam Clerk, my vote is no.
Okay. Councilman Kalik?
My vote is yes to close the public hearing.
I know what it is.
Councilman Mendez?
We're closing the public hearing. My
Yes,
vote is
sir.
yes to close the public hearing.
Madam President?
My vote is yes to close the public hearing.
Discussion, Madam President?
The vote is 5 in favor, 1 against, 3 absent. The public hearing is now closed for item number 1.
Okay, so Madam Clerk, before we roll call the second reading for approval, Councilman Kalik, discussion?
Yes, thank you, Council President. We heard Dave Gilmore speak about it. There's other state, they're charging 20%. Why are we charging 2% sales tax? And is there any explanation or?
May I, Council President?
Corporation Counsel?
Thank you, Councilman Khalid, for that question. So the tax that we are charging pursuant to this ordinance is the maximum permitted in New Jersey by state law. And I'm not aware of any other municipality that has a different tax scheme. So there's a limit to how high we can charge, and we've charged the maximum amount. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Madam Clerk, Councilman Mims, we are in second reading. We're going to do a roll call for second reading approval. Okay. Did you want to say something?
Sure.
Councilman Mendez?
Thank you, Madam President. And for me, and I stated something in the beginning, during the first reading of this ordinance, that for me, the concern, cannabis is already here. It's approved at the state level. We put out, we make a decision, the mayor beat it, it's already here. We still have not the resolution in our, in the body, the resolution on the table for discussion. So we have a lot of work to do in that term. But in my concern with this corporation council is I understand that this is the 2% is mandated by the state. Have you have any record of any other municipality that went back to the state and have the discussion? Because especially our community, we are in need of a lot of things in cannabis. I know the resources, the revenue is incredible. And I believe that we should get more than 2%. Can we go back and we have the ability to go back to the state and have a conversation to increase the percentage for Paterson?
May I, Council President?
Corporation Council.
Thank you, and thank you, Councilman Mendez, for that question. So certainly, if the council so deems it appropriate, we're happy to correspond with our state counterparts and ask that we be permitted to charge more. I will just ask the council to seriously weigh that as an option, because part of the barriers to entry are the expenses and the taxes and other things. And I don't know what's going on in Connecticut, but I know in this state, other municipalities have followed suit with the maximum amount and then sought to regulate it in different ways by way of application fees and other things which you foreshadowed would be discussed later on with your colleagues. So to the extent that you really focused on this maximum taxation amount, I'm happy to correspond with the state on that. Otherwise, I would recommend that the most prudent practice is for you and your colleagues to decide what you want your cannabis ordinance to look like, what regulations you want there, what fees you want there, what application fees you want there, and of course, I would be happy to draft that for you.
Great. I think also I just want, before you roll call, Madam Clerk, and to my colleagues, this is just amending. We currently have an ordinance in place for the medical cannabis. And so we now just want to add recreational there because we already know that it's now in Paterson, the recreational, which the city, we did not approve that. That came from the state. And so we want to be able to tax, our last year we received, I believe it was over 240,000 on the medical piece in terms of the taxation. And I want to be able to at least have this in place so then we could tax and receive those revenues.
Madam
So-
President, I have a quick question before we continue. Corporation Council, this question is for you, and if you don't have the answer, I definitely, if you could get back to me on this. I mean, I know, Madam President, you mentioned the 240,000 that we have in tax last year. If I would like to know if it's possible to allocate as a separate line item in terms of the revenue that we're getting. Not because my concern is I don't want to see this get into the general fund, because we have to find a way to make sure that the revenue that we get from this impact the community directly by investing in human capital. There's been a lot of people they've been incarcerated for weed and all of that. So we have to find a way to impact the community different, and specifically with this revenue that we're getting. And my concern is that whatever we get for cannabis, if we go into the general fund, we're not going to be able to see that because administration, they're going to be able to use it in a different way. So if you could work on that and get back to us, because that's my concern. What are we doing with the revenue that we're getting, and how we're going to impact our community that have been suffering for many, many years, and a lot of them, they've been incarcerated for this because of cannabis. Thank you.
Okay, very well. I'm sure that Harry Savalos is in place of the BA as she and the CFO are away in a conference. So I'm sure that Mr. Savalos will bring back that information and the recommendation of Councilman Velez, and I'm sure that you would also concur. Madam Clerk, roll call for approval on item number 1 for second reading.
Yes, Madam President. Roll call on item number 1 for second reading. Councilman Abdelaziz.
So as you heard from Corporation Council, the most that municipality could tax is 2%. As we speak right now, when it opened up on Route 20, the city of Paterson gets $0, right? That's why we're putting this in here. That is, we're losing money the longer that we take to adopt this. And what Councilman Jackson said is correct. For future businesses, we should have a package of bills to address who gets these licenses, to address some of the programs. That's not in front of us. We tried that months ago, where they gave us one big package of bills, and we put it together. That didn't pass. There was a veto. At the end of the day, while we're sitting here, someone is buying recreational marijuana on Route 20, and Paterson's getting $0. We're probably losing $40,000 to $50,000 a month just on the sales from this one establishment. So that's state law. Will you want to change it to 20%? I suggest go to our senators, go to our assembly people. They can amend the state law. Most of the tax money goes to the state. 6.625% goes to the state of New Jersey. Then there's excise fees per ounce. That money goes to the state of New Jersey. So you really want these percentages to go up? Talk to our state legislatures, let them go down a train and amend it. But what I want to the Corporation Council and to the BA, GTI is, they want to get involved in the community. I asked for them to pay us retro, right? We should go to them and say, you know what, be a good neighbor, pay us this 2% from day one. Pay us 2% from day one, because we're a little late on this. I think that's a fair request to them. I heard that they made $1 million in sales on the first weekend, right? I think I read that. We should put a request. I would draft a letter. Hopefully everyone will sign on to that letter saying, pay us the 2% from day one instead of missing out on the couple weeks. Every dollar means something, and this is a revenue booster for our city. And I look forward to working with my colleague, Councilman Jackson, on some of the ideas you have. I hope you could bring those resolutions and ordinances in front of us, and I'll gladly support how we get these businesses and local Paterson residents. That's not here right now. There's no other business, other license that's been given to the city of Paterson, and I will join Councilman Jackson to work with you to make sure that we get that passed so people in Paterson have that opportunity. My vote is yes.
Thank you. Councilwoman Cotton.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. We had, I think the question was before too about the amount that the state is allowing us to charge sales tax. That's what it's called, sales tax. Now, as my council colleague here said, we need to go to our state elected official to see, they need to put forth resolutions and ordinance to put in place to raise it. Now, there's probably more taxes that the state's gonna collect than we as a city's gonna collect. So, will they move up? Will they increase it? I'm really not sure. But this right now here is just for, I think the date was April 13th. No, October, that we passed the first one. But then it became legal in April 21st, I believe. So we are behind. The request about retro, I think that they will do retro. I think that they will pay us back money that we're like, we'll be 4 weeks behind or 6 weeks behind. But right now, and there's items that we would like to see put in place and put the resolutions together, put the items together that you would like to see done and how you would like to see it done. So this is just the sales tax. I'm really, he mentioned the 6% to the state and other exercise tax that the state collect. So this is just to start. Corporation Council, please, we need to do the retro if we can, if they would do that. So with that being said, this is just to get the 2% sales tax that the state is allowing us to collect. And that being said, my vote is yes.
Thank you. Councilman Jackson.
Thank you, Madam Clerk.
You're welcome, sir.
You ever see somebody got a big dog? Just have a big dog, like a big Great Dane or Rottweiler, and a sound flashes, the dog start running. It's like one of the most embarrassing things. I'm talking to you, Brother Gilmore, because I think maybe, I don't know how many people can actually understand and relate to what I'm talking about. Like, you have a body that holds a great deal of amount of power, yet relinquishes the power every single. We can't do that, but you know, it's not. This council holds the key to everything that happens here. Unless we collaboratively, collectively come together to enforce, to mandate, to demand what's right for our community. You know, I had the unfortunate pleasure of having to go out in Essex and Madison where I ain't see nobody from the administration out there, where another mother had to mourn another deadly shooting. You know, if they made $1 million on day one, you know what they would owe us? $20,000. What could we do with $20,000? We couldn't even send the football team to Florida with $20,000. The mayor spent more than that on this campaign. I mean, 20 times more than that. $20,000, and we're like here scrambling and then gonna beg them, please, can you please be so kind to pay us retro? You cannot do this in any other community. No other community will let somebody come on your block and sell drugs, collect all the money, because that's what this is. They basically coming on our block in our community, selling drugs where people are traveling hours and hours to get here, and we're not getting anything out of it but 2%, $20,000 for every million. So they made $12 million. They paid us $240,000. $12,240,000. So even if the state gets 6% plus they put an additional stipend on them for being able to come to our neighborhood and sell in our neighborhood. The law permits us to set the gauge. We set the parameters. We could say, no, you want to come into our neighborhood? We could have made any demand. We could have said we want every street painted pink. Whatever demand we wanted to make, if they wanted to come in here, trust me, don't believe it wasn't all a setup to begin with. 6 licenses issued, and they go into the most derelict, drug-infested communities in the state of New Jersey. And in our community, that's outlined with every place else, they're not even going to those dispensaries because they're selling the stuff at like 10 times the price of what the street value is. This is just absolutely crazy. And we sit here and make excuses after excuses of why we can't do something, and then make it seem as if something that we're doing is so phenomenally good for our community. I played for Marty Barnes. He sponsored my baseball team. Then I played for Alpha Steelers. Then me, as a business owner, I turned around, I sponsored just 1 year, positive impact, cost me $15,000. I sponsored the Diamond Divas. I sponsored the Ballers, the Paterson Wolves, the YMCA. I sponsored so many. I've never made $1 million, well, maybe $1 million, but I've never made $12 million. They made $12 million last year. I've never done it. It'll probably take me 12 years to do that. And that's before expenses. They're clearing that. And we're getting 2%. And we're happy with that. Some of you don't understand how difficult it is for me to sit here night in and night out, watch people sell our city out, sell us out for nothing. We get nothing. You get nothing. Because trust me, there's beneficiaries in this room. It's just not the community. How many teams did they sponsor? You would figure that they'll come in and sponsor teams. I don't see a team nowhere. Every mother that has a kid in this community got to pay for their child to participate in extracurricular activities. And we're talking about recreation, there's no money. Oh, let's try to put more money there. Doing fields for adults to come play there because the kids barely have teams. This is an embarrassment. This city is the worst. This is the worst body that I've ever. I think we need to go on retreats and just go to other cities and watch their council meetings. Watch them hold people accountable. This is absolutely ridiculous. Madam Clerk, you already know my vote is no. Every fucking night.
Councilman Kalik?
Thank you, Madam Clerk.
You're welcome.
State supersedes the municipal. It's a state law. If we want to charge 50%, if we could, we'll charge 80%. But we can't do that. States, like I said, state supersedes the municipal. It's not on our hands that we could charge whatever we want for any business comes to our city. It's a state law. They put a percentage together. We could up to 2%. And we are charging them as much as we can. That's all I'm going to say. My vote is yes.
Thank you. Councilman Mendez?
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Since the first reading, the community, know about my concern about the 2%. I believe that this community, we need a lot of more, especially if we really want to invest in our youth. This is a great opportunity for us to take a lot of the revenue and directly invest it in our community in terms of recreation and those activities that our children need. We all know the need that we have in the community. And I, in the beginning, I said that we should pump our brake and see what can we get and not settle for the 2%. I believe that we should go back and have a serious conversation. They're coming into our town, and they're gonna make millions and millions of dollars. They will. But what's in it for Paterson? What are we getting for? What are we getting for? My vote is no, Madam Clerk.
Thank you. Councilman Mims?
Good evening, Paterson. First of all, let me apologize for being late. And I give my condolences out. I was a part of Commissioner Emmanuel Caper's sister's funeral, and I was doing the invocation, so I apologize for being late. So I was not here for the full discussion on tonight, but I have been here for the workshops and the first reading. Well, I do agree with some of the commentary that's made that we should get more. The issue that we have is that it's been mandated, the 2% by the state. Now, if we want to get more, then we have to work with our state legislators and our assembly and senators to say, we think we deserve more, write letters, make phone calls, and then we can adjust it or amend it need be. I do like the idea that Councilman Abdelaziz brought forward as well that said to ask for retroactive. But what really bothers me, and I was very vocal about this from the very beginning, that we don't really talk about is how this impacted the Black and brown community. How so many of the Black and brown community are still to this day fighting for their records to be expunged, fighting to get housing, fighting to get jobs because of this same item that is before us. Before us, we're voting for a tax. Currently, it's been approved. We're not receiving a penny. People are making money, and we're not getting anything. So this is what the state has put on record, 2%. Should it be more? Absolutely. We should write letters, make phone calls. We elect our state legislators, and that's what we can do. That is some of the power that we have. I call it the power of the pen, or the power of the phone call. And we can do that, not just here as the legislative body, but as a community as well. I think we deserve more, but this is what's before us, and I will not be someone that will be in the way of us receiving any funds. And on the other side, tell homeowners, we're trying to give you relief. So this is some level of relief to give to our homeowners and even to other things that we have in our budget. So, Madam Clerk, wow, I had a short time. I'm going to reclaim some time from Jackson. No, but my vote is yes, Madam Clerk.
Thank you. Madam President?
So I think everyone has said it. What we have before us is an ordinance that is being amended with the tax percent that currently we can only tax the medical. and the fact that we had no say with the recreational license that was given to the applicant, Rise, who's currently here with the medical cannabis, I am not going to put myself in the way of saying no as well. I think that it's important that we understand that we still do not have the ordinance in place to discuss the things that, for example, Councilman Mendez just mentioned, the things that Councilman Jackson mentioned as well. We are going to review that. You're absolutely right. I'm not disagreeing with anyone on this dais. So what we have in front of us is an amendment so we can make sure that we are able to tax the recreational from this specific entity, and understanding that state law supersedes municipal law. And I'm in agreement. I think we all will be those individuals making those phone calls to our state legislators, all the way up to the governor's office, you know, to see if there's any way that we can make any requests for increases. But at this time, what we have before us, I am going to support. Madam Clerk, my vote is yes.
Thank you, Madam President. The vote is 5 in favor, 2 against, 2 absent. Item number 1 is hereby adopted on second reading.
Thank you very much, Madam Clerk. Item number 2.
Yes, Madam President. Next item is item number 2 for second reading. Public hearing is required. An ordinance establishing stop control in the section of 22nd Avenue and East 33rd Street. Department of Public Works Ordinance 22043.
So moved.
Moved by Councilman Mendez and second by Councilwoman Cotton. The public hearing is now open on item number 2.
Say no move to close.
Seeing a move to close by Councilman Mendez and second by Councilwoman Cotton. Roll call, Madam Clerk, to close the public hearing on item number 2 for second reading.
Yes, Madam President. Roll call on item number 2 to close the public hearing. Councilwoman Cotton? Yes. Councilman Jackson?
Well, this is an example of the authority of the council, and it's kind of like some of the best work that we can do. Instead of holding businesses accountable that make millions in the community, we do stuff like this. I guess I'll just go along with it as well, Madam Clerk. My vote is yes.
Thank you. Councilman Mendez?
Yes.
Councilman Mims?
We're closing the hearing. My vote is yes.
Madam President?
Yes.
The vote is 5 in favor, 4 absent. The public hearing is now closed for item number 2.
Thank you very much, Madam Clerk. Roll call on item number 2 for approval.
Yes, Madam President. Roll call on item number 2 for second reading. Councilwoman Cotton?
Yes.
Councilman Jackson?
Yes.
Councilman Mendez?
Yes, Madam Clerk.
Councilman Mims?
So to the public, let me just be clear. When these items are brought before us for stop controls, four-way stops, anything that has to deal with traffic and intersections, there is a process. It comes in, has to go through a traffic study through our engineer. They go out, they look at to see if there were accidents, they do markers, they do all types of stuff. Then it comes back to the committee after the recommendations are made, and then it's brought before the council. So this is not an arbitrary item that was just placed here. There obviously was a need in that particular area, and it was approved by our engineer. So based on the engineer's approval and the documents that were attached to this item, my vote is yes.
Thank you. Madam President?
And Councilwoman, I'm actually going to say that after it goes through the process through our traffic engineering, then it goes to committee, our DPW committee, and then it comes to workshop. From workshop, it goes to regular for a first reading, then it goes through a second reading, a public hearing. And so with that said, we understand the need for it. And Madam Clerk, my vote is yes on item number 2 for approval.
The vote is 5 in favor, 4 against. 4 absent. Item number 2 is hereby adopted on second reading.
Thank you very much, Madam Clerk. I'd like the public portion.
Yes, Madam President.
How many items? How many items?
I tell you.
How many speakers?
12 speakers.
12 speakers, very well. Madam Clerk, first speaker. The public portion is now open. First speaker.
First speaker is Elder Corey Teague. And state your name and address for the record. Thank you.
Corey Teague, 65 Prince Street. I want to request an additional minute, if that's possible. To speak? Okay. Only because I'm here today, of course, to represent the De Jesus family, but I also want to point out an important day this year. This is 2022, right? So the second Sunday of May 1997, Bishop Liston Page Sr. formally licensed me as a minister. That was 25 years ago. I can't stand here and say I didn't make any mistakes in those 25 years, made plenty of them, but I'm still here to represent families. I'm here today because this family still has not received answers. I believe it's 100 days now, close to it. Is it 100 days, over 100? 108, which is supposed to be a good number in many cultures, but in this particular situation, it's not. The reason why I really want to come here today is to talk about those 5 individuals who claim that they saw Felix. Now, the issue I have with that is this. I can understand if you said you saw someone walking around after the fact, but if you could identify that person as Felix, then you would know that that is not an area that he walks around in. So you would make sure that somebody comes to get him. You would call 911 to make sure an ambulance came and got him. So those people that said they saw him the day after, why didn't these people call the ambulance when they saw him? If they were able to identify him. It's one thing to say, oh, I just saw somebody walking around. But the way I heard it from Heldon is that these 5 individuals identified this person. They said that we saw him the next day. So if you saw him and you know that it wasn't normal, same day? The same day. Okay, the night of. They said they saw him the night of, supposedly after the incident, right? Or before, at some point. They said they saw him. So if you could identify him and you know who it was, why couldn't you reach out to the family? If you know who he was, you had to know some of the people that were around him. I can't believe that you just randomly saw him and say, hey, I know that guy, but I don't know anything else about him. It's highly unlikely for 5 people to know that same person, and none of them know anybody that's connected, maybe not even friends, family, maybe friends, maybe people you may know in passing that may know him. So that's what I'm trying to figure out. And that story came out after we began to apply even more pressure to the situation. Of course, we have the same mayor again for another 4 years. And guess what? We're going to hold him accountable until we get answers. We're not as upset and aggravated as I was Tuesday night. I woke up Wednesday morning with the resolve that this family deserves justice, and they're going to get justice. There's a song that we sing at our church. It's called Stand. It says, what do you do when you've done all you can? And it seems like it's never enough. What do you say when your friends turn away and you're all alone? What do you give when you've given your all and it seems like you can't make it through? You just stand. When there's nothing else to give, you just stand. What does it say? It says, watch the Lord see you through. After you've done all you can, you just stand. So we're going to continue to come to these meetings, and there's other events that we're doing as well, and we're going to continue to stand flat-footed until we get a straight answer. All we want to know is what happened to him. And that's the craziest thing of all. When you ask a direct question and you don't get a direct answer. That's what frustrates the family, and believe it or not, that's what frustrates this community, because they want a straight answer. It's not a witch hunt. We just want a straight answer. Very simple. Where is Felix? That's a very simple question. If it becomes a complicated answer, it's certainly not complicated on the part of the family. It's complicated on the part of the people that were sworn that took an oath to protect and serve him. That's where the water gets murky. But the family wants a direct answer. What happened to him? Where is he? Why is that so hard? We saw a video the other day on Facebook about an incident that took place in, I think it was New York, Cape May, and it was a body cam footage of that. Several incidents. So what is the big deal? What is the big deal? And what is it with the holdup, and why are there so many mixed questions and redirections going on? It's very simple. As much as it frustrates you to hear us come up here, it frustrates the family to have to come here week after week and try to get answers. So I implore you, as a body, oh, by the way, Councilwoman Vera Ames told me to tell all of y'all hi, and she said to make sure they understand that the power rests with the council, not with the mayor. And until the council begins to understand that, she said when she was here, it didn't run like this. When her crew was here, they understood that everything stopped and started with the council. Whatever the mayor was trying to do, the council had the power to either push it through or hold it up. It was the power rests with the governing body. I also heard someone else say real quickly, they mentioned about the state laws and the 2%, and they mentioned about it being a state law. Understand something, slavery was once a state law. Dr. King, who's standing right there, said there comes a time when you have to start fighting back against unjust laws. And the people that set those state laws that supersede local laws are also elected by the people.
Correct. Thank you very
Okay.
much. Thank you. Madam Clerk, next speaker, please.
Yes, ma'am. Next speaker.
Okay, and Commissioner Teague? Yes. After everyone speaks, I'm actually going to address Corporation Counsel, okay? Next speaker?
Yes, Madam President. So we have Giovanni De Jesus and followed by Crystal Garcia.
Okay.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Good evening. Well, here again, it's 100+ days, me asking for help, asking you guys to give me a little bit of answers, something about my brother, still nothing, asking for help, Supposedly you guys are here to support and help us. Now, it's so messed up, it's really 2 officers that had contact with my brother that night, didn't report it on a cold blue weather, dropped off my brother. Now, 5 other individuals said they seen my brother. Who are these individuals? I don't know. I don't care. All I know is Paterson Police, it was the one that picked them up and dropped them off. I've been asking the mayor, I've been going to his companions, to his stuff, not for problems, not for a threat, to at least accept my family, and speak to my family. But no, what he came and did to us, he left us out in the rain. The same way his 2 officers left my brother out in the cold blue weather. I had my mother outside that day, my whole family. All I wanted to do was to speak to Mr. Cory Booker, They hid him from us. They hid him from us. Why? All we want to ask him is for help. Since the mayor cannot help me, cannot help my family, I go on all his lives. And I ask him, please help. Where's Felix? Please help. Where's Felix? And still nothing. I haven't received not even a call. Haven't received nothing. What is Paterson doing to support my family and the Heldon Police Department to search for my brother? What have they done? What search parties have they done with them? Because Heldon PD always contacts with us. We not here for problems. We here for peace. Please, answers. We need justice, man. Where is my brother? Now, everything in this world is money, 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 community, people. The money is a rule of evil. But if this is how y'all guys want to work, we have $10,000. Whoever brings me my brother. I have $10,000. Whoever bring me my brother in one piece. Please, please. Companions, all this type of stuff, Mr. Mayor Andre Sayas, you have the power and the respect to tell your prosecutor's office to at least to give me the full video, please. And closing, with all due respect, I apologize if you guys ever felt this some type of way as we come here and speak. But the only thing I tell y'all is I want answers. I want my brother back. Because the oven was in 150. Right now the oven is in 400. It's coming. The pressure's going to be worse and worse and worse. Please, guys.
Okay, thank you. Madam Clerk, next
Yes,
speaker.
Starting with the damn lieutenant that was on shift
Crystal
that
is
night.
next. Crystal Garcia.
I'm sorry?
Crystal Garcia is next.
Ms. Garcia, you could lower the
Good evening. I'm just going to ask Madam President for extra 2 minutes if I can. Crystal Garcia, Paterson, New Jersey. Good evening to all in attendance. 100 days and counting. I recently watched a video out of Dade County, Florida, about 3 correctional officers that were arrested and charged for the murder of an inmate. Here are some quotes during the briefing of the state attorney of Miami-Dade County in Florida. Catherine Fernandez Rundo and Secretary of Florida Department of Corrections, Ricky Dixon. State Attorney Rundo, and I quote, "Our system of justice demands that those who are part of the law enforcement community clearly recognize their roles and their individual duties. One can never enforce the law when one is breaking the law." Unquote. Numerous Paterson police officers have been taking justice to a new level by breaking the rules and the law. All infractions need to be investigated properly, reviewed, and action taken when appropriate. These criminal acts give the rest of the organization a bad name and causes the public to lose trust in the police department. State Attorney Rundo, and I quote, "While a person is in the custody of a police, a person doesn't lose their basic human rights that they are afforded under the law and under Constitution, especially when a person is vulnerable in the sense if you have a certain condition," unquote. Felix was drunk and did have some type of hand and arm injury, as seen in the 4-minute body cam footage shown to the family back in early April. Additionally, he had just completed hip surgery a few weeks before this altercation with the police. State Attorney Rundo, and I quote, "The care, custody, and basic human rights never leave a person. Irregardless of the potential crime, citizens have a right to be treated fairly without being victimized and abused," unquote. In Felix's case, the Paterson Police Department failed to protect Felix when they had him in their custody and while they were conducting their investigation into the bodega incident. Their use of force was clearly disproportionate and over the top of this situation while he was detained and in their custody. To make matters worse, he was never charged with any crimes or violations, so why was he really cuffed? I mean, the victim did state she wanted to put no charges, and there is no detain law. They said he wasn't arrested, so we have to quote, "Is this a false arrest?" Ricky Dixon, and I quote, "These officers have violated public trust and the trust of those who work alongside of them," unquote. We believe these Paterson police officers did the same in Felix's case, and in addition to all those officers that have been convicted over the crimes in the past 7 years. Ricky Dixon, and I quote, "We understand that the police interacts with citizens thousands of hours throughout the day, and often those interactions involve provocations with our citizens, and the vast majority of the time, the police gets it right and they are professional," unquote. Unfortunately, poor judgment, poor supervision, and poor negligence is what was displayed and applied in the Felix de Jesus case by the Paterson Police Department. These officers clearly violated Felix de Jesus' civil rights. While these statements were made in reference to a Florida murder case of an inmate, they resonate with the Felix de Jesus case, and it speaks volumes to accountable for their actions, and they should be placed on administration leave, investigated, and either cleared or any wrongdoing terminated or prosecuted as applicable. I would also like to leave you with this final thought. Ironically, HBO has a new show named We Own the City, right? The series chronicles the rise and the fallout of the Baltimore Police Department's gun trace task force. It is unfortunately a true story about how deeply rooted the corruption was at the Baltimore Police Department. Unfortunately, the Paterson Police Department is starting to look like it. We need justice for this family.
Thank you very much. So, who's the next speaker, Madam Clerk?
Next speaker, the name is Angie Gilpin, I'm not sure. Angie?
Okay, we're not going to pass, if they're not here, we're not speaking, but I'd like to, for a minute, I want Corporation Counsel, Ms. Garcia, for Corporation Counsel, I mean, we have our Chief of Police here. We have okay,
They have no answers for
okay,
us.
let me, there's no rebuttal, please. I'd like to.
We've been here for 3 months. We know
No, I understand.
I mean, this is the same lieutenant that came swinging a baton because of tints and they called him personally. So is this the same lieutenant that was on shift the night of Felix de Jesus being when he sent out 2 rookies?
Ms.
Just
Garcia,
asking.
Ms. Garcia,
I mean,
let
he's
us-
here.
I'm gonna respectfully ask you, all right? I gave you the additional time. You've
Yes.
put your message through, and I have a question to Corporation Counsel.
President.
In term, one second.
Very quickly.
No, 1 second. I'd like you to put on record, as of right now, where are we?
Council
Okay, in
President.
terms, Councilman, I'm asking a question to Corporation Counsel. I'd like
Point of
him,
order, I'm asking you very quickly.
but I'm asking a question I'd like
I
him to
understand
answer for
you-
the family.
So, Council President, if I
Because,
may.
wait, 1 second. So, they mentioned something, actually, Giovanni mentioned something, and then Ms. Garcia as well, and they mentioned something about 5 people. Is that what you said?
So, yes,
Okay,
so,
no,
so
do not-
the 5,
Okay, so you know
there's
what?
5
We're not gonna
civilians
have-
that they're saying.
Okay, 1 second. We're not gonna have a rebuttal, please, because, it's a shame that, you continue to think that I have information that I do not have. So you just mentioned something about people. So I wanted to ask you, Corporation
been
Counsel,
stating
what
that.
updates do we have in terms of what they're indicating that people, 5 people, or how many people?
What have they
Where's the
done?
report of this? I mean, we have, and Chief, I'd like to ask you, Chief, as well. So I'm gonna ask you first, Corporation Counsel, what information do you have from the prosecutor's office?
Thank you, Council President. I'll give you the update that we have at this time. So, first and foremost, Paterson Police continue to assist Hilden with whatever requests, whatever needs they have. It is routine and actually the way it's supposed to be, that you have one lead agency. If Paterson PD went out and investigated it separately, it could impede the investigation, it could create all sorts of issues, and the police chief is probably best able to expand upon that. So we continue to provide Hilden, the lead agency, with whatever support that they need anytime that they ask. As to the release of the body cam and any internal affairs information, we have repeatedly asked the prosecutor's office to release it to the family, release it publicly, release it to the council. The family and us are awaiting her answer, and if we don't hear from her, we'll continue to ask her for that. And then lastly, in terms of any discipline that's imposed on any police officer would be confidential up until the point that discipline is imposed. Thereafter, any major discipline imposed on any officer will be posted publicly and be available on our website. So that is something to be seen, and at this time, I unfortunately cannot comment on whether or not there's any discipline or any process that's ongoing.
Okay. Councilman Jackson.
Council President, what I wanted to say was, Mr. Yunus, whether intended or not, I'm receiving text messages from the public where you making faces while the family's there. I don't know if it was intended by you or not, but there's members of the public that are commenting. I think that it would only be proper that if...
Okay, 1 second. One second. Okay, 1 second. Officer, 1 second. What? I'd like. Okay.
There's people sending me text messages.
Councilman Jackson, all right, so
on
Madam
TV.
Clerk,
Not-
next speaker, please.
Yes, Madam President. Mr. Gilmore? Mr. Gilmore?
1 second. Okay. Officer. Okay, Mr. Yunus. Okay, 1 second. Madam Clerk, the next speaker, please.
Mr. Gilmore?
Madam Clerk, we need the next speaker.
Mr. Gilmore is trying to get there.
Madam Clerk. I know it is. I know. Listen, I I know. I know.
It's all right, because everything that you live, God damn it, it come back.
Okay, Madam Clerk?
Yeah, the next speaker is Mr. Gilmore. Please state your name and address, Mr. Gilmore.
Well, first of all, what was it, Friday night? I was at the Masonic, where the mayor was having his rally, and invited Senator Cory Booker to attend. And I had gotten there a little early, planning to observe the situation there, sitting in my car, not bothering anybody. And I was approached by the security and constable hired for the event and asked to leave. I questioned that, why am I being asked to leave? We don't want you here, as it was relayed to me. I said, well, who conveyed that message? And I was told, the chief of staff, Kathleen Long. And I was pretty much taken aback by that because, first of all, I've never had any real interaction with her since my situation with the city and so forth. Everybody's been cordial. I've never attacked or provoked anyone. I'm a very calm person. You know, I believe in God. Things happen, put it in God's hands, and a good lawyer. So anyway, having been a member of the Masonic since 1977 and a patron of the bar that was open at that time, the campaign rented the room. Not the parking lot, but the room. They also conveyed that they did not want the protesters access to the property at that time as well. So I had spoken with the worshipful master and the manager of the bar, and permission was given to be there. And they were just as peaceful as they are right now, until provoked, because there is provocation here. I mean, you see that. They don't bother anybody. All they want is answers. That's all that anybody would want. So it was until the end of the event, when the mayor was exiting, and it's on film, where the detail was very aggressive, leaving the concern, pushing and shoving and knocking people around and so forth. And it excited the situation. And I don't think that's how public officials are supposed to act. As example, when Senator Cory Booker left the rear, he stopped and he spoke and he listened to the concerns. I don't know what happened since then, but he did at least take the time to respect the concerns of the family and/or a conversation. And I'm sure that you were thankful for that, were you not? Yes, absolutely. But when the mayor left, they came out blazing, you know, and it's on film. I think it's unacceptable. And to this day, you know, things have happened and transpired and all kinds of other things that have disrespected people, including the clerk and the other situations that we've had around here. And no apologies, no nothing. You know, I'm really very much disappointed, and my heart breaks for these people. You know, I stand with them. I want to be there when, in fact, the news comes, you know, just to know what's going on. This is unacceptable. And that's the disconnect that we see. We have, if you indulge me 1 minute, please. We have a very important election coming up as well, election and selection for July 1st on the reorg of the council. And it's time for change. We need to change direction. The mayor's been renewed, but the streets are still dirty. The mayor's been renewed, and the innocents are still being killed in the streets. We need a new direction in terms of the council, a level of accountability that must be raised for either committees of the whole and other accountability measures, we beg and implore that you do what you're supposed to do. The turnout was so low because people are disenfranchised. They don't know. Regardless of what people may say, there was a voter suppression activity for this last election, separating the town bipolar ends and not allowing the people in the highest density, poorest areas of the city equal in accessibility as others had. So false letters going out telling people they can't vote
Gilmore.
and so on. I'm wrapping up. So I think that we need to identify that. We're not stupid. We're just hurt and disenfranchised, and we're not getting what we need from our elected and appointed officials. It's time for a change. New mayor, new direction. Or same mayor, same direction. Whatever it is. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. Madam Clerk?
Yes, ma'am. Next speaker, Mr. Elvis Durham. Elvis? He
Next
left.
speaker, Madam Clerk?
Sebastian Mejia. Sebastian?
Council, good evening.
Mr. Mejia, you can lower the podium, just lower it. You're good? All right.
Council, good evening, public at home, good evening, public here, good evening. Firstly, I'd like to apologize for stepping out of decorum, but I think it was necessary. I'm the type of individual that I operate off of respect, okay, first and foremost. I've never sat up here and disrespected any of you, and I'm not gonna tolerate disrespect for this family. Not from any individual and not from the administration, okay? We said the Pledge of Allegiance before this started, right? We do it all the time. Liberty and justice, not just for all. Unfortunately, Felix de Jesus has not received either of those, okay? What he has received is disrespect, negligence, okay? Es un descaro. It's a disgrace, okay? That podium that pops up everywhere around town, nowhere to be seen, no press conference, okay? Haven't had the TV time at all. When we know the mayor could call up the news channels in any given moment and have a press conference. Not one word has been said by the mayor or his administration to the public at large, okay? And I remind you all, and I've heard this saying my whole life, who you are is reflected with who you surround yourself with, okay? Remember that, okay? And this is, I'm not trying to take a jab to anybody on the council at all. I have the utmost respect for you all as public servants, but because it takes a lot. But what I'm saying is that if the person in charge of this city cannot stand behind this family, why are you standing next to him? Why? I don't want to be next to somebody who's not going to ride for our family, whose loved one is missing 100+ days. You'll never see me standing next to somebody like that ever in my life. And unless they hid it from me and I didn't know, but it's very public now, okay? It's very public. And we're tired. Honestly, you could tell by the voter turnout that this city is disenfranchised by the choices that they have in their public leaders. Nobody went out to vote. So even though whoever won, you won by a hair because nobody really came out to vote. Nobody got real support. Whoever won, nobody got no real support. You saw the numbers. I don't got to pull out the numbers. Okay, what, 13,000 out of 84? It's a disgrace. Es un descaro. Okay, and man, it just goes to show you that we're only valuable during election season. And even then, so, no, stop clapping, guys. It's not to clap about, it's not to celebrate. Because even then, so, we getting White Castle and pizza. Ridiculous, man. Ridiculous. And again, this message is more so for the administration and the mayor directly, not for the council, because you guys have sat here and listened to us. The mayor hasn't heard a word that this family has had to say at all. At all. Okay? Good evening. Thank you for all your service. All those who won in the election, congratulations. Okay? Thank you all.
Thank you.
you all. Thank you for all you
very
do,
much.
Mr. Jackson. Thank you as well.
Thank
All right?
you.
Thank you.
Madam Clerk? Next speaker.
Next speaker is Daquan Johnson.
Can you please repeat the name again, please? Mr. Johnson?
Hello, good
Mr.
evening.
Johnson.
Wow.
I didn't hear the first
Mr.
name.
Yes, can you repeat your first name, Mr. Johnson? Deshaun.
Deshaun
Okay.
Johnson.
Thank you.
And I'm going to repeat that, wow. Because I'm 28 years young. I've been watching this council meeting since I've been a little kid with my grandma, elders, my first time here. And my reaction is just, wow. There's a few, now first let me say this. So Mr. Mejia was just up here. I know him since the 3rd grade. That's the only reason why I'm here, right? He asked me to come. I said, sure, I'll come. Why? Because that's my friend. I stand with him. Just like he said, he stands with that family. So first thing I'm gonna say, I don't even know the family. I don't know not one person here. I was holding a sign, but because I stand with Mr. Mejia and he's standing with the family, I'm here to support. No doubt, y'all welcome. But what is that? That's empathy. So I can empathize with Mr. Mejia and with his family. But my question is, can we, and not just we, but we as a community, can we empathize with each other? Can the 6th Ward empathize with the 4th, with the 1st, with the 2nd, with the 3rd, with the 5th, right? Can there be some healing done? Because what I hear, whether it's Mr. Jackson, Mr. Gilmore, speaking from cannabis, talking about cannabis earlier, whether it was the family, whether it's Mr. Teague, right? Everyone's talking about transparency, accountability here in our city. That's really what they're talking about. And it's manifesting in different conversations and different problems and different issues in the city. But all people want is some transparency, some information, some respect at a bare minimum. Hey, listen, we make mistakes. We all do. But if I could get some transparency, some information, that at least, you know what, I can stomach that. That's a loss, that's something I can stomach, or someone can stomach. So what I'm here to ask, right, because I'm an educator. I was just talking to my 6th and 7th grade students. I said, hey, I told them today, I said, hey, it's easy to do bad. It's hard to do good. What about you guys? Have a good day.
Thank you very much. Madam Clerk, next speaker.
Yes, Madam President. Next speaker is Ms. Raquel Amador. Raquel?
Raquel Amador. Okay.
Hi.
Good evening.
As always, every family deserves justice. We're bleeding at the seams. A 15-year-old yesterday. We need to be proactive. We need to be proactive, not reactive. Can we get the rookies on traffic patrol? Traffic has become my thing. I was told, put up more signage. We have the signs. They're not reading them. They're not listening to them. Can we put the rookies out on patrol? I need a traffic division. Butler Street's still not a one-way, guys. I need Butler Street to be a one-way. Can we cookie crumble 6th Ave and River Street? I had to fix a tire. That hole is hurting. River Street and Lion, también needs to be cookie crumbled. We need to fix in front of the Salvation Army. Can we get lines and pavement? Because I will use my car to defend myself. I have full coverage. That's what I pay for it for. Now that we're in a 4-year relationship again, can we learn each other's love languages to see how we can work with each other, whether we disagree respectfully? Let's stop with the jabs. Let's move forward. If we know that we like the press conferences, let's see if we can find a balance with too many, just enough. Do it like that. We know who we're in the 4-year relationship with. Can we sit down with the cops, the sheriffs, the governor, the assemblyman, the congressman? Some of these people live here. My taxes are paying for their lifestyle. Dude, I'm broke. I'm poor. We know I ain't with it. Let's go. The Department of Recreation, they send out advertisements to the school. I know everything has to be looked over, but sometimes we would get the advertisements from the Department of Recreation on the same day of the deadline. Can we work with Department of Recreation and the schools to see if we could expedite the process in getting those flyers approved, passed out to the families? Because we have a Department of Recreation. Let's get some more people to play some games off the street. Ow, I need your number. Ow, I need your number. I gotta send you some pictures. Loitering laws. Can we get some, please, please? Because seriously, you guys know it's easier to ticket and tow a car that's wrongfully parked in a disabled spot, but I can't clear out the front of the liquor store. Where else? Butler Street, one way. Butler Street, one way. Downtown, I was driving through it today. Can we paint, like, is there some type of initiative we could come up with to get all the buildings resurfaced so that they match and they look better and not so grungy? You know what I'm trying to say? Like, because one corner store looks like this and it's just and it doesn't match with the next. It's not feng shui. We're trying to be a tier 1 city. Let's go. Seriously, have y'all talking to the people of Hinchcliffe to see how, the people of Red Bull, to see how they get their traffic pattern flowing? I'm there every weekend. Traffic flows. I don't want to bash my face in. One more thing, hold on. The 1,000-man march is coming up to show unity. That's this Saturday, the 1,000-man march. The Night with the Stars is this Friday, $70 a ticket, and I got something for y'all. So, yeah, and I gotta find parking.
Thank you very much. Madam Clerk?
Yes, Madam President. Next speaker, former Councilman McCoy.
Thank you, Madam Clerk.
Good evening.
You're welcome, sir.
Good evening. Nothing heavy tonight. I just wanted to stop in to commend and congratulate those who are broadly participate in the election process. To you, Madam President, on your election.
Thank you.
And to Councilwoman at Large, Dr. Lisa Mims, on her stellar numbers. Although the numbers were low, you have the distinction of having the highest vote total at the at large, and you ought to be commended on that. The election is over, but elections do have consequences. And I think the voters were wise in looking over the candidates and selecting someone that can move our city forward. And I, for one, look forward to resolving my old case of 2020 and being in court and seeing the resolution for that. So I look forward to Mr. Mendez facing the charges of voter fraud in August. And then we can finally put that chapter to rest and have our city cleaned up in more ways than one. Good night, everyone, and God bless and be well.
Madam Clerk, next speaker.
Yes, Madam President. Last but not least, Mr. Eunice, Mr. Hytham Eunice.
Good evening.
Good evening.
I have full respect to this family. And the councilman, he was in Facebook, and he claimed, I am watching the auction, one of the member family. How he got the picture? Because he's in Facebook, he didn't give attention what they mention, what they say. My full respect for you. And last time, you talked to me on a word, I turn my back, I feel straight. I have respect, but when someone, a councilman, he's in Facebook, when he's in Facebook, just you want to get the pictures, and he disrespects you. And he talking now about the 2% of taxes. What about the $140,000 you took it from the city as a small businesses, and you ripped the city for $140,000? Return this money to the city, okay? And I'm sorry for you. Those people, they told you to hang around him. This gentleman, he's suspended from the city because he harassed one Latino woman. Okay. Shut up. Shut up.
No.
And this guy, he used the community. They used your cause. I know I'm in politics, guys. He used your cause to gather around him to speak about your case. And if he left, he's talking about you. Yes, I'm responsible for all this. Shut up, loser. Shut up, I said.
Eunice,
okay,
please.
I'm sorry.
You're
I want to
addressing
close
the
this
council,
one.
please.
First of all, Congratulations to you, Council President.
Thank you
Congratulations,
Point of order.
Councilwoman
There is
Lisa
no
Mims.
point of order. He has 3 minutes.
just gonna allow him to-
Councilman, he has the floor.
Congratulations to our
Just allow him
mayor,
to be
my time,
disrespectful to
Councilman.
Councilman.
Councilman,
Madam
my
Clerk,
time,
stop
okay?
the clock.
All right.
Councilman, you do not have a point of order on the
So,
public
Council
portion.
President, if
My
somebody
time, I have
speaks
to
derogatory
finish.
to
No,
you,
Councilman, I'm gonna
you
allow
always
you to
stop
speak.
them. When somebody disrespects
Councilman,
you
I am
never
going to
allow them
allow
to
you.
continue
I
to
am
speak.
going to allow you
But
to speak.
he's disrespecting everybody in
Councilman,
here.
Councilman.
Everybody in here, you're just going to continue
Councilman,
to
It's the
there
go
is,
truth.
on.
It's the
Councilman,
truth.
you know
I say the
rules.
truth
I am
here.
going to allow you to
I'm not
speak.
lying.
I'm
Asking
saying
him
let
to
him
speak. I'm not
finish.
asking to speak. I'm asking you to.
But I
Dear
don't- but
Patersonian,
right
correct
now-
him.
dear Patersonian, we see the election Tuesday. It was very sad. We have almost 13,000 people they coming out to vote. There is a very low numbers. Please, come back and start voting. We need to change these faces. We have people here, they have criminal cases sitting in these seats. We have Alex Mendez, he's gonna go to jail. Michael Jackson, he's gonna go to jail.
Mr. Eunice,
And this
Mr.
is-
Eunice,
and
Mr. Eunice.
This is, we
Mr.
need to
Mis-
change.
Mr. Eunice.
Congratulations,
Mr. Eunice.
congratulations for the elected official.
Okay, Mr.
Congratulations to our mayor.
Okay, Mr.
Congratulations to our
Okay.
council president.
Okay, Mr. Eunice. Miss-
Thank you so much.
That was
Okay. Council, Commissioner, you were wrong and you know it. No, he can't, but let me tell you something. Commissioner, no, you know the process. Commissioner, you know the process. I don't interrupt you. You say everything that you say under, just like everyone here, you all asked for additional time and I gave you the time. And all I was saying is let the man finish, that's it. Okay, just like everyone else gets their.
Council
So you
President.
know what's a shame is that it's okay when certain individuals come and they can curse you out, and you knowing that you've been coming here for years, you understand the decorum. No, I did not say that. I said that you don't stand. It's okay for others to do it. All I'm saying is this: everyone that comes here has those 3 minutes, and when asked, because everyone here asked respectfully for additional time, and they were given their time. I understand that what's going on right now. Listen, this is what I don't get offended to see the family here every week. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. They're hurting. I understand it. But I give them their time, and you know the process. You do not interrupt them while they're speaking. Once they're done, then we can ask a question to Corporation Counsel or to anyone here that wants to have a moment to speak. We all know the process. So with that said, Madam Clerk,
Council President.
can I have a motion to close the public portion?
So moved.
Moved by Councilman Abdelaziz. Can I have a second to close?
Second.
Roll call to close the public portion.
Yes, Madam President. Roll call to close the public portion of the regular meeting of May 12, 2022. Councilman Abdelaziz.
Yes.
Councilwoman Khan.
Yes, I'll say my comment for when we close, please. Madam Clerk, my vote is yes.
Thank you. Councilman Jackson.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. So just for a point of clarity, Council President, as you can see, that's not Facebook. I'm not on Facebook. You don't have to look at the name of the individual who sent it to me.
I can't see.
That's a text message with them circling his face.
That's a text message,
That's not a Facebook post. He's always disrespectful, as he just displayed that. And with all due respect to you, Council President, that is not accurate. If anyone comes to that podium and they address other people and they address this body inappropriately, you've always stopped them before in the past. You've allowed him to go on. When he turned around to address the family, he was very inappropriate with Mr. Gilmore. He was inappropriate with Corey Teague. He can say whatever he wants to say to me. He won't say that to me directly. He already knows to deal with that. But more importantly, he came in here extremely disrespectful. This is members of the public sending it to me. This is not me making up anything. I'm simply telling him he should be more respectful. But I will be remiss because as this family is hurting, getting no answers from the administration, we also have the McKnight family, who they have gotten absolutely no answers at all as well. In fact, what they've gotten from this mayor is disrespect. He went on and publicly made a public statement about their brother without having any information, as he did with Jameek Lowry. And it seems that our people continue to get disrespected while clowns like this believe he have the right to come in here. And listen, Mr. Eunice, anyway, because this is the reason why people like this try to pull you out of character. And then the moment it happens, they're a victim. Yeah. So it's disrespectful, Council President. You can acknowledge it or not. What he just did, he should not have been allowed to do that. You cannot use this platform to come in here and act.
And
Let's get that
Councilman, you are correct.
Act.
Councilman,
Act.
and you are correct.
Act like a bully. Act like a tough guy. Real tough guys don't have to act. Don't have to come here and do all of that, all right? And still talking.
Councilman, Councilman, are you done?
Well, Council President, what I would like to do at this point is to make a small request. I would like for whoever moved and seconded the motion to close to rescind those motions and allow the sister Theonis McKnight, Rara McKnight, to be able to have 3 minutes at the microphone as well, as she just. No, I'm sorry, you can't do it unless she.
You're not good, only we're gonna hear you, so if you wanna come here, I will, you can.
We don't have to rescind.
No, we don't have to rescind, you can come here to the microphone.
Hi, I'm Cynthia Rodriguez, the sister of Thelonious Rara McKnight. My brother died December 29th, 2021. It's now, May 12th, 2022. Still have got no answers. Your counsel has been quiet except for Mr. Jackson, who's reached out to my family. Mr. Saya, he just incriminated my brother until video footage that my other brother took and released to the public. That's when everybody wanted to reach out. I hope y'all saw that video. Y'all saw that video? Oh no, I know y'all saw that video. He had a phone and a bottle of Tito's in his hand, but yet your officers decided to kill my brother. Three of them. But they're saying only one officer shot and my brother shot back. How my brother gonna shoot back with a cell phone in one hand and a bottle of Tito's in the other hand? But he's shooting with his toes? Because if he could shoot with his toes, then that's a magical person. Now, y'all all wanted everybody to come out here and vote. Oh, vote for me, vote for me, vote for me. What did y'all do besides send text messages to the people of Paterson to vote for y'all? Mr. Mendez?
Only person who addressed my family.
The only person, Mr. Jackson. He stays in contact with our family to see how we're grieving. And as Mr. De Jesus' family said, he's been reaching out to them too. What have y'all been doing besides trying to get y'all photo op? Doing nothing. Doing nothing. Jameek Lowry, y'all brushed that under the rug until it literally came out that your officers killed that man. Video footage of my brother being murdered and begging for his life, begging officers to stop shooting him while they're shooting him. Nothing got done, but incriminated my brother. But that officer, no psych evaluation on that officer after firing on a civilian, after killing that civilian. None of them officers got desk, nothing. They still on the street. Instead, they made him out to be this superhero officer. Fuck him. Excuse my language, but fuck him. I'm sorry. And what else? I just lost my train of thought. Apologizing to y'all for my language, but as a sister, as an older sister who literally lost her baby brother, who didn't get to live, no children of his own, all he got is us and our children, y'all would feel the same way if it was your brother, 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 your brother. If it was one of y'all brothers, feet will be on the ground. Feet feet would be on the ground. If he was related to one of y'all feet would be on the ground. Y'all would be out there every day begging for news, begging for people to come out and support and help y'all look for this man. But nothing is getting done. Nothing is getting done. Now a 15-year-old baby killed last night. My nephew killed. And what the mayor did, he used that as a photo op. He used that for votes. What's going on? What is going on? New Jersey is one of the only independent states in the United States of America that doesn't receive much governmental funding because we can hold our own. So hold your own. Help the citizens of your city. You're not doing nothing. Nothing. Nothing is being done. And then y'all get mad when people come up here angry. Oh, it's not my fault. It's not my fault. One band, one sound. One band, one sound. Y'all all sit with this man. Y'all all sit with these corrupt police officers and do nothing. Because it don't have nothing to do with y'all. That's it.
Councilman, this is your time, your vote.
You know,
No, we're closing.
one of the things that we got to keep in mind is that
We were
life
closing. You voted no to close, and then he asked.
life matters. Everyone's life is important. We should not be treating certain individuals as if their life is less important. And I value everybody in the city because I often understand that as this young lady at 15 years old lost her life, that could have been my daughter. That could have been my son. You know, the circumstances in our city are so bad. And I'm just urge you guys, I mean, it was a missed opportunity Tuesday. It was a missed opportunity. How do we hold these people accountable? There's only one way. They only understand one thing. Get them out of office because they're making money while in office. This is what it is. His war chest went from $80,000 previously of being the mayor to $500,000. I can't find very many people in the community that's made contributions. It's heavy developers, it's interested parties, people like the marijuana dispensaries that's giving up $150,000 to his groups, while he has cheerleaders like this running around here acting as if he's doing something for our community. So listen, my frustration is as heavy as you guys. You already know how I feel about your losses, and I'm sorry for it. But Madam Clerk, my vote is no.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's no.
Councilman Mendez.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Through the chair to Corporation Council. Corporation Council, we all know and we see the situation with the Felly Dancer's family, and over 100 days, we still have no answer. A lot of them, they say, okay, you haven't done nothing. The power that we have is to hold the administration accountable and ask them questions. We've been doing that, we're not getting no answer. So my formal request now from my position and the authority that I have as a councilman is to reach out to the person in charge to the authority, and we need an explanation in writing. What is the process? What is the investigation? What is the status of the investigation? Because over 100 days, and what we're getting is that we're collaborating. I'm not willing to sit here any longer and just waiting and just hear the family screaming at us and say that we're not doing nothing. I'm making the request, a formal request, that's a power that I could do from my chair. Other than that, the only thing I could say that the entire community have to rally behind all of you. Because if it will be a mayor related or family, it will be totally different. I saw the video at the Masonic Temple, the way he conducted himself. That you was guy outside the Masonic Temple, you guys
He could do that same show and parade us around to see
peacefully. Let me just say, you guys were outside the Masonic Temple peacefully with no problem. Even Cory Booker addressed you guys and have a conversation with you, and the mayor he act totally different. But the situation, the problem is that we know that we have a mayor that he doesn't care about your situation and other situation, because he will open the door for all of you from the day one if he will care about this community. In my position, the entire community, we need to rally behind you, and we need answering. You know, for the prosecutor's officer, they have to be there have to be an answer in writing, Corporation Council, to the governing body and to all of you to see where is the situation, where is the investigation, and where's the process. So that's my request. And in another note, I really want to express my condolences to the family of that young girl that was killed. Another young girl, 15 years old. She got shot yesterday. She got shot yesterday. So with that being said, we got work to do in this city. I'm going to address. I'm going to. If I may, I'm going to address the result of the election later on and what happened and the lack of and the voter oppression that the city of Paterson received. But let me just say one thing. God is watching over us and God watching what we're doing. Let me tell you, I've been going through a very difficult time since the last 2020 election. And in November, I have the honor to beat Bill McCoy on November 2, almost 2-1 in an election. They make me run in November. I won the election fair and square in May. They make me run in November. I won the election in November. They took me to court. I won in court, maybe one or twice. But listen, you know what? I love this community, and all I want is to serve the people. If I'll go to court, I know I'm innocent. I know nothing's going to happen to me, and I'm going to continue fighting and working for this community. And I would love to go on an election with him to beat him again. With that being said, Madam President, I will address the voter oppression at the end that we have on this past election. I'm not conceding the result of the election, the mayor election. We still have to wait for the vote by mail. We still have to wait for the provisional ballot. This mayor never got the number that he got on the election. You could go outside and stop 100 people and ask the people who you vote for. Get 1,000 and ask who you voted for. Let me finish. And if there's one thing, I know Patty. Listen, you see my color. I'm dark. In closing. Listen, I know Paterson. Look at my color. I'm out there day and night in the street. I guarantee you that he never got the number that he claiming that he got. Never. I will leave it like that. My vote is yes, Madam Clerk.
Thank you. Councilman Mims?
So I'll have additional comments later, but let me say this. I say it every time the De Jesus family comes to the meeting. I think it's heartbreaking. It's been, I don't even know how many weeks you've been here. It's been months that you keep coming, asking. At this point, I agree with Councilman Mendez. I'm asking the administration, I'm putting it on record, and I will be calling the prosecutor. We need an update for the council side because we need to see something in writing. I always say if it's not in writing, it never happened. So we have to see something. We have to see something in writing, and I'm going to request it. I'm going to personally send an email. I don't have to wait for any of my council members. I'm going to send something in writing. There should be something sent to this council giving us some type of information to say, this is where we stand. They may not give all the details and the breakdown, but there should be some level of update to say, we're at this level, or we need to meet with them, or if there needs to be a meeting with the prosecutor's office, with the family, with a mediator in the room, whatever that looks like. But I just think it's sad that we're here and sometimes we get hit, right? Because we're sitting here and we have to take it because, the mayor doesn't come to the meetings. He's watching, but he's not here. But we get hit with it when you come to the meetings. But my heart goes out to your family, to the other family that was here on tonight. And even we talk about the Lowry family. But a lot of times people, they look and they think we don't care, but we do care because I'm a mom, I'm a grandmother. Some people, they talk about, for me, it bothers me because some stuff gets taken to a political piece and it should not be politicized. People's family members are missing. A young girl was shot last night. See, for me, it's not, a young girl got shot, I'm gonna go and I'm gonna look, I'm gonna sign a paper. I know the family. I knew her since she was a baby. It's different for me. It's not like others that don't know them, they're just showing up, the man saying all this stuff. It's different for me. I'm in the street every single day with these families, talking to them, babysitting these kids, and then all of a sudden you get the phone calls. They were in my classrooms. So it's different for me. I may not sit and respond and do all that extra stuff because I don't need to do it, because you have to be in the community. And I'm gonna speak to another piece at the end because I think it needs to be said about this election that just took place. I didn't run to be in this seat for anyone to like me. No one. I ran to help our community and to help the residents. And that's why people attack me. That's why they did so many things. I could tell you some egregious things that were said about me in this election. I'm going to talk about it at the end. That were told to the community to avoid people from voting for me. It didn't work because I was the highest vote getter. It didn't work. But it's sad that when you sit on this side and you really fight for the community, that people have to go to the lows of lows, for them to feel that they need to keep a seat to degrade you. To say, Mims was a former drug addict.
They say all kind of stuff.
Mims was a prostitute on Broadway.
Yep.
This is what they were telling the community, to not vote for me. She doesn't care about other people, only blacks. It's a serious situation to sit on this side and to fight for all the people. I don't normally ask, but I'm gonna take privilege. To sit for every ethnicity, every community, and to have my son come home crying because his girlfriend is Dominican, and they go in the hair salon, and they're in the barbershop, and to hear them tell me and show me proof that they saying the Morena got to go. And I don't even know what they're saying. I said, what does that mean? The black lady on the council, don't vote for her, she has to go. That's sad, Paterson. We're in a sad time in the 21st century that we can be racist. We could be racist and try to degrade someone else to build ourselves up because you're afraid of what God has blessed them to do. It's a sad day in our city, and we have to do better. We have to do better. We have to do better. I think it's embarrassing and disappointing. We should never allow anyone to come to the mic and disrespect any of the council members by cursing them out or degrading them and allow them to say whatever they say. I think it's disrespectful to sit and hear it and then they have to take it and you can't respond. We're still human. We're still human. And this is not to the day Jesus for him, because I know you guys are very upset and you have a right to be upset. But I'm saying, if someone said something to me at this sitting here, we take a lot of stuff. But you can't come and just curse somebody out, call them out their name, and tell them to shut up at the microphone. That is rude. That is disrespectful, and it never should be allowed. It should never be allowed in this forum. There's a level of decorum from both sides, and it should never be allowed. I don't care if they supported you or not. It should never be allowed. People are human, and they have feelings, and we have to do better. People are watching us from all over the state. All over the state. We get calls, right, Councilwoman Cotton? We get phone calls. We go out and we're at places, and they say, what is happening in Paterson? And we have to do better. So Paterson, you don't normally hear me say this, but Paterson, we need prayer. We need a cleansing. We really need a day of healing. We need a day of healing. Because if we can go to those lows of lows just to sit here, shame on individuals. Shame on them. Shame, 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 shame on them. Shame on them. And I hope that they don't rest. I hope that their spirit is bothered that I speak this, because guess what? Shame, shame, shame on them. That you would even degrade someone. I'm a mother. That you would say that I was a former drug addict. I've never even smoked cigarettes a day in my life. To say I was a prostitute? How dare you do that? And to say the Morena has to go and the barbershops and the hair salons? Get a life. And get a clue. It's ridiculous. It's absurd. And it should never happen. Never happen. And if I hear anything else, I'm taking it to court for defamation of character. You should learn better and do better. And don't say it didn't happen, because I have the proof. And if you dare me, I'm going to send it to the newspaper. I'm going to send the videotapes to the newspapers and tell the witnesses that came, they said they're ready to come forward. Should never be allowed. Never. Never. How we get out in this community, we're up, me and Councilwoman Cotton, in the middle of the night at these crime scenes. We're at the hospital with these families, taking food to them, all ethnicities. It doesn't matter what color you are. We have helped everybody. But to do what was done in this election, shame, shame, shame. But God got it right.
He sure got it.
He made me come back to the seat as the highest vote getter, right in their faces. Shame on them. Shame on them. Shame. You should be ashamed of yourselves for doing what you've done. Shame on all of them. We rode our float and we watched some of them. We watched some of the stuff that was going on our float, and it was videotaped. Shame on them. Throughout this community, spewing that garbage and negativity because you want to be here. If you have to act like that to be here, you should not be here. That's immaturity and jealousy at the highest form. Shame on you. Paterson, we need a healing. We need cleansing. And most importantly, people need God. My vote to close this public portion is yes.
Thank you, Madam President.
So, I'm somewhat speechless. I have had numerous times individuals come and insult and defame me on there, and no one has come out to say, don't speak to the council president that way. So with that said, and I'll say this, because I do believe in Jesus, Councilwoman Mims, and I do believe that there needs some healing in this town, absolutely. And you know what? I'm thankful as well that we came back. The people, your supporters vote for you and they bring you back. It doesn't matter highest, middle, or last. You come back, and when you vote here, your vote counts as one for collective things. So I'm not gonna, because it is true, everything is politicized. So many things have been said, and I won't entertain anything that happened during the campaign, because everyone has their story. But I am going to address the Jesus family because, you know, and also I know that, I believe that, I was not, sir, I was not there. Absolutely not. No, so Giovanni, no, let us not, I don't want to do a back and forth, because I'm voting to close, okay? And no, I did not go. But with that said, I'm just going to say to the family, as I told you before, we talk about transparency, and I keep it real with you. I called the prosecutor, as I do every week, updates. I called Captain Guzman, okay? And I asked for updates. Unfortunately, he can't give me more than what he has, and when I call the prosecutor's office, I have no information. No information. This is why I addressed Corporation Counsel through our legal department, okay? And I think the only thing that I heard today that I haven't heard differently, okay, is, Madam Clerk, my vote is yes.
Thank you. The vote is fine. Madam President and council members, the vote is 5 in favor, 1 against, 3 absent. The public portion of the regular meeting is hereby closed. May I have a motion to close the regular meeting?
So moved.
Moved by Councilwoman Mims.
Council
Second
President.
by Councilman Mendez.
Council President, before we move to close, I have a question as well for Corporation Counsel, if I may.
Okay.
So, Corporation Counsel, I'm just trying to understand the process, and maybe you can through the chief's office or through the director of public safety's office. I'm just curious, and I still can't quite understand. If the gentleman was in Paterson, he was in possession of Paterson police, he was last seen in Paterson, Paterson police dropped him off in Paterson. Why is Hilden the lead agent on this investigation?
Council President, may I? Thank you. Thank you, Councilman Jackson, for that question. I believe because he is a Hilden resident, they took the lead on it from the beginning. And because they were lead on it from the beginning, they had a head start. And so as a result of that, they were designated the lead agency, and Paterson Police helped where they could. But we do have our police chief here, and he may be able to shed more light on it than I can.
All right, so hold on. He said the police chief can, chief, if you can come right over here.
That's not how it went. We went to
Okay.
the police station to make a police report, and they told us that they could not take the police
Okay.
report because
Chief,
we
have a
are
seat over here.
resident. It don't matter where you reside. You can make a report in the state of New Jersey wherever you went missing. They messed up right there.
Okay.
She wants the chief to address it
Chief.
from here.
Chief. I wanted the chief to sit. I wanted the chief to sit over there, but fine, you can address it there. Fine. Hold on, Mike.
Missing persons reports are normally taken where the person resides. Sometimes they could be taken in different jurisdictions. As it happened in this case, I believe the family approached the Hilden Police Department, and they initiated the investigation. They asked every turn, every step of the way, when they needed our help, they called us, and we gave them all the help we can. Okay, whether assisting with the search on the water, on the land, any other aspects of the investigation, we assisted. But Hilden, they are very capable, the police department, and they are handling the investigation, and we will assist them any way that they need. That's it.
Okay. All right,
I'm sorry, Council President, if I may. So, Chief, I understand that, and that may be the case under normal circumstances. When you have an individual that just turns up missing, we don't know where he is. It happened in Trenton. He encountered civilians. But in this case, where the individual happened to have encountered a police department, so just a question: does that mean the Hilden Police Department is investigating Paterson Police Department?
Because our officers had contact with Mr. De Jesus, they were also part of the investigation. That's correct.
So who's investigating the police officers?
The administrative investigator, the family came and they made a
No,
complaint at
that's
the
not what I
Paterson.
asked.
What's your
I
question?
said who? So I was
can't-
told it was the
hold on.
prosecutor's office. So chief.
Yes, ma'am.
It's my understanding that the prosecutor, this is internal affairs.
The prosecutor is not internal affairs.
The prosecutor is not over internal affairs, chief?
The prosecutor is overseeing our internal affairs division. I didn't understand what you were saying.
Okay, because you just,
Okay.
I just said who is investigating the police in the situation?
They are not investigating us. They're not investigating. They are overseeing the internal affairs division of the Paterson Police Department. This was done by a former Attorney General Graywall.
Okay.
And they're still
All right,
here.
thank you very much.
Thank you.
So, Madam Clerk, move to close by Councilwoman Mims and second by Councilman Mendez. Okay?
Yes, Madam President.
Okay.
Roll call to close the regular meeting of May 12, 2022. Councilwoman Cotton?
Thank you, Madam Clerk. I just would like to say that to Felix, to the family, that I remember saying one time, you remember when I said about God, and they said, I'm a praying lady, and I'm just as Corey T said before, he said, it says, sometimes God said to you, please be still. I will send you something. I'm a big believer of that, but to the family, I've reached out to the prosecutor, I've reached out to the Attorney General. And we all, and they're not giving me no answer. They're not giving me any answers. But we do care. I do care. Like, you know, with the other young lady here, I didn't even know about what had happened. As Councilwoman Mim says, you know, we be out there. My husband would say to me, Ruby, you going out at 2 and 3 o'clock in the morning. I said, but you know, I have to have faith that God's gonna look after me. I have to have faith. I just want to say to the family, we do care. I do care. I truly do care. My friend's daughter was killed last night. That was hard. We all hurt. I always say to people, we all hurt. So we do care. I do care. I just want you to know that and I do reach out to everyone. I do care. And I just want you to know that I have been reaching out constantly to the prosecutor, constantly to the Attorney General of what, and now that it's been placed in our Corporation Council hand to be able to see what, and I remember you did send us a report. You did. And it didn't have much information, but you did send us something. He did send us a report. Yeah, he did send it to us. But it wasn't, and I can share it with you, but it didn't have much that I could tell you. I just want to say to you that I just want to mention that we do care, family, please. We do care. I wish they can give us some more answers, but they're not giving us any answers either. So it's going to come. It's going to happen. It's going to come. They're going to tell us something eventually. I just want to say also that Rocky was here earlier about Lion Street, BA. Please, Butler Street, please, we got to get that one done. I just have a few announcements that we have a camp called Trailblazers. Last year, I couldn't get any children to go. If anybody have any young children out there, it's from 7 to 17, please, please. We gotta let our kids get away and enjoy the woods and enjoy the outdoors. So if you know any children, please get in touch with me. They're gone for 12 days, overnight for 12 days. And and the place is just immaculate. They're out in the woods, and so please, if you know anyone, please. Also, I have fishing passes that we weren't able to be able to go. And I'm reaching out to Patersonian to go fishing at a reservoir. If I have passes, if you want to go, you can contact me. Also, please, the Bourbon County agencies are doing Section 8 vouchers. Bourbon County. They're taking 350. It's going to be a lotto drawing. Please reach out to me that I can give you that information on on how to go about doing it. The deadline is between May 20th and it's only a 5-day period. So you know how the days are. There's not much time. So please reach out. Anything I can do, you know that you can call me, Councilwoman, for anything that I've said that you don't know and you want to reach out to me. Please do. Madam Clerk, and then I want to say congratulations to my 2 councilwomen who got reelected on the City Council. Councilwoman Dr. Lisa Mims, congratulations. High vote getter, Council President Marissa Dabler, congratulations. We must continue, to work together. So with that being said, Madam Clerk, before I go out, I've been here with Madam Clerk sometime at night till 1 o'clock in the morning, because I don't like to leave them here. Madam Clerk, and your deputy, Jackie, and your staff, if you know what they have gone through for the last month with this election, and I want to commend you and thank you, and I stay here with you at night to make sure that everything, I can't do much because I can't see this stuff, but I just want to commend you, Madam Clerk. You and Madam Clerk
staff-
Sonia
and my-
Gordon.
and my staff.
And Deputy Clerk Jackie Murray and all your staff.
Right.
City Council staff and City Clerk staff. I want to commend you for what you did for this past 2 months with this election. Madam Clerk.
Thank you.
My vote is yes.
You're welcome. Councilman Jackson?
Thank you, Madam Clerk, and I want to reiterate that as well. The job you do, and it was very difficult in this last election because this mayor pulled out all the stops. Corruption is heavy. But I want to point out a couple things. So, a couple days ago, I had the opportunity to go down to another illegal establishment in which Mr. Gilmore, when he was employed here, had an opportunity to enforce some laws on, which were all the summonses. People could come here and just break the law. So Corporation Counsel, again, the illegal activity going on in the art factory, you know, and it's further bullying tactics where they're gonna tell some young people that they're gonna slap the shit out of them if they don't come get their things out of there. This type of activity, the illegal activity that goes on in our community. The art factory was written over 150 tickets. None of those tickets were abated. The tickets were dismissed, but the issues surrounding the tickets being written, none of them were abated. So those issues still exist. And yet they're overcharging. They'll charge you $3,000 for a desk size this size, and they're doing it to people who live in our community, which is terrible. The treatment to the Jesus family continues to resonate, and I think that, you know, regardless of whatever it is, the investigation process, there's a certain thing that people are entitled to, and that's respect. That's respect. People deserve respect, that's all. So when people sit in the front and want to make faces and want to be disrespectful, people are watching, and, you know, you can say whatever you want to say. I mean, you run in an election, so people are going to talk about you anyway. I've had council members go around in buildings and tell people you can't vote for Councilman Jackson or Councilman Mendez because they're indicted. You can make accusations about anyone. Still hasn't been proven. And so the gentleman sitting there spewing off things that I know is resonating through the people that he's supporting. So it's been said about me as well. I'm not out here crying. I lost the election. It is what it is. People made the choice. I think because the real people are making the mistake in understanding. And I want to just leave this to you. There's certain things, languages that people understand. We know in the street, growing up in the street, you understand certain things. And unfortunately, that language has changed. When I was a kid, you violate somebody's respect, you get punched in the face. Now, you disrespect somebody, unfortunately, you get shot. And because people are walking around with armed guards, they think they are bigger than the law. In chief, I want to say this. Just because an officer has a badge and a gun does not give him the right to disrespect, put his hands, that's an assault as far as I know. Maybe I need to be more further abreast on the law. But when you have people standing in the public right of way and an officer aggressively putting his hands on someone, I think that's an assault. Maybe I'm wrong. So Corporation Counsel, I think that needs to be addressed because you have family members that are being mishandled on behalf of the mayor who believes he's the president of the United States. And even in that situation, people should be asked or if you feel like there's a necessity to create a safe corridor where people feel uncomfortable because they can't travel through their own city from which they're elected in, then there should be barricades. There should be something set up in place before family members have to be, one, physically assaulted, and also threatened. Because before I got there, family members were telling me they were being threatened. And that's not how things are supposed to, it should not be that way. But this family is upset, they're hurting, and instead of being consoled, or treated with respect, they're being further disrespected by being physically harassed, verbally harassed, threatened. Oh, they should not do this. They're putting too much pressure on people. So now they feel like people, the mayor, feels like he needs to threaten them. He pointed his finger at them on the videotape and made a verbal threat. I advise you guys to file charges, because that was a threat. The mayor who walks around with 2 armed guards says something to you that way, that's an open threat. 2 armed guards traveling with you, and then you're gonna need, you point at somebody, and whatever the statement that he made, that's a threat, and I think that warrants filing a charge. I'm sorry, I'm sorry, we can talk about it, we can talk about it after. We could talk about it after, because, but I stand with you. You already understand that. You already understand it. It's not that I stand against the police department, but I do stand against unfair treatment and the corruption in the department, and people believing that they are bigger than the law. You're not bigger than the law. Just because you went through an academy, you have a badge on, doesn't mean you're bigger than the law. And it doesn't make you a bigger man. Trust me, I can tell you that. But anyway, to the McKnight family, you deserve the same treatment. The Lowry family, and this family, this young girl who lost a 15-year-old girl on the streets of Paterson, we bear no responsibility. These are our streets. And when you have somebody lose their life on our streets, and the people who stand forward to be in charge of things fail to respond to that, that's negligence. That's negligence. Anyway, with that being said, Madam Clerk, our vote is yes.
Thank you. Councilman Mendez?
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Just in closing of the meeting, to the Jesus family, I'm just going to say that I'm going to continue requesting an information about this investigation, even though they say no, we're going to continue asking. As a body, that's our power, and we should continue. We should not stop requesting and pushing for them to invest, to give us an answer, because over 100 days passed already, and nothing has been said from the administration. Well, I have no hope on this mayor. If he didn't face a family from the beginning, he's not going to do it again. He got what he wants, apparently. But we're going to continue asking and pushing for, and I'm speaking for myself. I'm behind you 1,000%. If we have to rally, we're going to rally together throughout Paterson, because justice, the truth have to come out, and God is watching over us. And another note, I want to take this time to thank all the residents of the city of Paterson for the great support that I've received in this election. I knocked so many doors. I went around to the entire city of Paterson almost, and it was incredible, the love and the respect that I've received. I'm committed to continue serving my community as a councilman of the 3rd Ward, and serving the community at large, to the entire city of Paterson. All I want is to serve Paterson, and God already blessed me more than I deserve. I want to give back to the community. I'm not here for a benefit. I'm not here for a paycheck. I'm not here for looking for a favor for my family. I don't need no job. I don't need nothing from a family member or myself. I'm here because I love this city, and it breaks my heart when we're losing our children. That young lady that got killed, 15 years old. And what, have you heard a press conference? Have you heard an action from the administration? No. And I said it during the campaign trail, this mayor, he doesn't care. And I know about numbers, and I know how to win an election. He know that he was losing this election. That's the reason why he reached out to Washington, to bring Senator Cory Booker, to bring Menendez, because he know that he was losing this election the entire time. That's the reason why he humiliated the clerk, our clerk, taking the clerk to court to try to take me out of the race, because he knew that I got the number to win this election. And he spent time over and over. And the trick was to hold the election. And once we'd run out of time, they sent over 11,000 vote by mail to Paterson residents. They couldn't fill out the vote by mail. They couldn't send the vote by mail back. When they went to the machine to vote, they couldn't vote because they received a vote by mail. Another topic, that was the biggest trick that he has for him to get away in stopping so many people from voting on this election. In another note, they changed so many people, the voting location, that people went crazy. They went to 4 and 5 different locations, and they couldn't vote. He knew that he was losing this election, and he used all this tactics to put voter oppression to stop people from voting and getting those numbers. That's a reality. But Andrew said doesn't have the number to be reelected. I could stay for a week outside, and I prove you that he doesn't have the number. And it's just there. He used it. He used his power to try to stay there. But Patersonian, knowing that by staying home, and I'm going to say that people went out and vote. I was there. I spent my whole day during the election outside in different polling places. People were voting. And a lot of people went to the polling site, they couldn't vote because he's tacked it. 11,000 vote by mail, the people, they couldn't send it back. He blocked a lot of people from voting. But you know what? God is great. I'm looking forward to go to court to fight the charges that he created, because all this nonsense about voter fraud, it was because of the mayor race, because he know that I got the number to be on that chair on the second floor. But God is great. I'm ready to go and face the charge because I know I'm innocent. I haven't done nothing wrong, and I'm going to continue serving the entire city of Paterson. And to Bill McCoy, that he came here to remind me that I have to go to court, let me say this: regardless of the decision of the court, you will not be sitting back at this chair, because people vote against you twice. People choose me in May. I won the election fair and square. I beat you 2-1. People elect me in November again, even though all the bad publicity and the damage that they tried to create me and my family. I won the election again. I went to court twice, and I've been in court twice. So the people choose me because I care about the city, I care about this community, and all I want is to serve the people. With that being said, Pattersonian, to the fellas that has some family, just keep fighting. God is great. God is watching what we're doing here. My vote is yes. Good night, Patterson.
Thank you. Councilman Mims?
So I just want to talk to Paterson. Paterson, I just want to say thank you for believing and having faith in the work that I've been doing in this community that I've been born and raised in. It's been an amazing, amazing journey to serve and to advocate. And when you look at the numbers and the voters that came out, you spoke very loud and clear that I need to return to my seat at the table. I have to say to Madam Clerk and your staff, all the great work that you do all the time, but especially during election season, I think is just absolutely phenomenal. To my great team, to my council colleagues, Councilman Abdelaziz, Councilwoman Cotton, Councilman Jackson, Councilman Mendez, who supported me in my reelection. I want to thank you publicly because of your support and your consistency. I'm back at the seat. But one of the things I thought was so profound, that when we were deciding what to do on the day of election, I said Paterson needs a day of celebration where you just go around the city and you give them a time of laughter. When we were driving around on our float around the city, there were many people that were dealing with things. They were sad, they were broken, and we would pull over and just give a t-shirt out or give something out, and people were so excited to hear the music. They were dancing and everything, and it was just a wonderful day. And we stopped by City Hall a few times. I wanted to make sure we stopped here and show some love to everyone that was working here. And I just think our city is one of the greatest cities. This is a city that I'm born and raised in. I've been here all my life, raised my kids here, and I just think, Paterson, you got it right by making sure that I got my seat at the table, but not only that, being the highest vote getter. I say to all the people that supported me or have not, it doesn't matter. If you call me, I'm coming. If you need my help, I'm still going to respond, because that's who I've always been from the very beginning. I love our city. I love you. Let's keep building this great city. No more battling, because we're better together. Let's move forward. Madam Clerk, my vote is yes. Good night, Paterson.
Thank you. Councilman Abdelaziz, we're closing the regular meeting.
Thank you, Madam Clerk.
You're welcome,
I'm
sir.
going to be very brief, but I do have some announcements for the 6th Ward that we have some events coming up this Sunday. We have the Palestine Way street unveiling ceremony. I hope my colleagues in the public could join us. My great colleague from the 4th Ward to 6th Ward residents, fishing permits. I know some of you have reached out to me that you'd like to go take your son or daughter fishing. If you, Councilman McCann, thank you. If you want to go to the Point View Reservoir to go fishing, please reach out to me. I'll drop them off. It's a good way to spend some time with your family. So thank you, Councilman McCann. We greatly appreciate you in the 6th Ward. To my colleagues, congratulations. 2 strong women that are back on the council. I look forward to work with you for the next 4 years, because I plan on coming back again in 2024. So thank you for working with me, and the residents of the 6th Ward have spoken. I just hope that we can move this city forward. As you guys know, elections are over. So I hope my colleagues that ran, let's roll up our sleeves, let's work together. And you know my motto is get things done. But I do want to give a special shout out to the residents of the 6th Ward. Once again, you trusted in me and the team that we supported in the 6th Ward. The largest margins of victory came out of our ward. And that shows that good government is good politics and that we reward people that get things done regardless of race, gender, ethnicity, or religion. The ticket that we support was probably one of the most diverse tickets. I came out publicly. I have nothing to hide. And I look forward to work. And congratulations to our mayor. I don't know what numbers other people are looking at, but the numbers are resounding. Some people in my ward lost 20-1. Some people lost in my ward 4-1. The people have spoken. But most importantly, people need to see results. People need results for the issues that they're having. To the De Jesus family, my prayers are to you. I have no answers. I've said it to the mayor numerous of times. Anything you could do for this family, let them know. I never spoke. I tried speaking the last meeting. And I'm going to say, all right, Madam President, I'm just saying, people want results. We want to get things done. The elections are over. Our colleagues are back on this council. Councilman Mendez, Councilman Jackson, Councilman Velez. We may not have been on the same page on Tuesday, but I look forward to working with you on issues that's going to affect the entire city. That's what the residents want. That's what the residents have told me. They want results, and we got to work. My vote is yes. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank
Madam
you very
President,
much.
Madam
Thank you
President,
very much.
your vote.
So I want to thank you, Councilman Abdulaziz. There's a lot of things that can be said about this past election, right? And clearly some of it was politicized. And, I can actually say that I had quite an amount of people, colleagues working against my reelection. But I believe at the end of the day that once you get reelected, because you may not be on the same page with certain things, but once you get reelected, we're here and we have to work for the people. It is not about a special interest. It's not about an interest, and it's for all the people. When we vote here, there is no specific gender or color, right? The issues are throughout the entire city, and we vote as a whole. I want to thank Councilman Abdulaziz. I want to thank Councilman Khalid. I want to thank so many people. At the end of the day, no big speech here. I am thankful. I know that there's still quite an amount of votes that need to be counted. Anyone that understands the process of this, you have until the day of the election to vote. At 8:01, it stops. But with that, anything that comes through the mail that is stamped through the post office by May 10th is still counted, and that doesn't happen. So these elections are not certified. These elections are not final. The election numbers, I'm not mistaken, there's also provisionals that need to be counted as well for those individuals, like Councilman Mendez, what you said. We encountered so much during Election Day. We made as many phone calls to get where individuals needed to go vote. And they would go, and they were told to go back. So some of that, we got it, right? Madam Clerk, I know that they were trying to make it seem as though, somebody sent out a mailer. Your office sent that mailer with the correct polling site to certain individuals because the map of the city changed. Am I correct, Madam Clerk? So there was a lot of conspiracy theories, right? But the reality is, listen, people are going to say what they want to say, okay? Numbers do not lie. People do. Numbers do not lie. People do. And I'm going to say to you again, you're standing right in front of me. Con el corazón a la mano te lo digo, and I'm going to keep saying it. I make the calls that are necessary, and my colleagues here, Councilwoman Mims, Councilman Velez requested a letter, okay? Still no answer, because the prosecutor I understand that. And listen, and I'm gonna, can I tell you, I'm gonna take that and I'm gonna be okay with it because I have to, you're correct. Because I cannot give you any information that I do not have. I can't, and the chief here, you know, so look, we normally don't do the back and forth, but I just want to say, once again, I'm going to continue. I have your mother in prayer all the time because I know that she's hurting and there's not much, and you guys are her voices, and I understand that, and I understand the frustration, and I do not feel threatened. I do not feel scared. I feel the frustration, and I get even more frustrated because there's nothing that I could say that is going to change how you feel towards me, that this is not a me thing, because there's a body of 9 here. There's a body of 9. You heard each council member here cares about this family and all of the constituents of the city of Paterson. So, you know, with that said, to everyone here, Corporation Council, Madam Clerk, everything that you did, everything that you did for this election, I truly appreciate it. I know the hard work that every individual, you know, in your office, you know, does on a day in, day out basis, but specifically when it comes to the elections, which you, in terms of the municipal piece, you're in charge of, but in terms of all the ballots and all those other things, that is beyond your control, and I want the community out there to know this is handled by the county, okay? The city has no control over when these final numbers will come out. Elections will be certified sometime, I guess, next week or whatever. So with that said, thank you, Paterson. Thank you to all the community that voted me back into office. My vote is yes to close. Thank you.
Thank you. The vote is 6 in favor, 3 absent. The regular meeting of May 12, 2022 is hereby adjourned. Good night, everyone. Thank you very much. Dr. Constable.